What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to part two of my top 150 NFL prospects for the NFL draft. That is this Thursday. Let's go ahead and finish it off. Feels like the hiccups are gone. If you know, you know. But let's go ahead and talk about prospects 66 through 75, where we left off at. And yeah, we will go ahead and get into it. Starting off with number 75 is going to be Mike Washington, running back out of Arkansas. Mike Washington was really under the radar for a while, really showed out at the Senior Bowl, ran the fastest recorded time at the Senior Bowl for a running back, and he's 228 pounds. So, a ton of power in his game and a lot of explosiveness as well. Pretty good pairing, in my opinion. 74, Max Clare feels like one of the safer tight ends in the draft, in my opinion. He is a really good blocker, but has shown upside as a pass catcher as well. I don't know if he'll ever just be a solo tight end one, but I think he can be a very, very, very good tight end two at the NFL level that you can rely on. 73 and 72 for me are going to be two centers, Jake Slaughter out of Florida and Logan Jones out of Iowa. The thing that gives Logan Jones the nod for me, much cleaner football player. Jake Slaughter had a big time penalty problem, even though he's a better athlete. I like Logan Jones a little bit more. I think his game is pretty clean, polished. I think both these guys can be starting centers at the NFL level. 71 for me is going to be Zakee Wheatley out of Penn State. Safety, 6'3", 203 pounds, 24 years old. I talked about all these prospects in depth, so I probably don't need to be going in depth on height and weights. Y'all can read. But yeah, Zakee Wheatley is just solid, man. He is going to be a good deep safety, sits on top of your defense, and has a pretty good nose for getting to the football once it's on the ground. 70 for me is going to be Elijah Surratt out of Indiana. Not the most explosive receiver in the world, not the best separator in the world. Overall, good hands, can get open at times. Pretty solid route runner as well. I think as Elijah Surratt is a good complementary big boundary receiver on the outside of your offense. 69 and 68 for me are two very high upside DPRs, especially high upside talking about Joshua Josephs. He's got those really lengthy arms. I think he could really benefit from adding another 10 or 15 pounds to his frame, and then he could potentially be a full time starter. Our Mason Thomas to me is just too small, doesn't have good length. He is a DPR, but he is a very polished DPR at that and has a deep skill set. 67 for me is going to be Keontae Scott, nickelback out of Miami. Keontae Scott has played nickel at Miami. He's played on boundary. I think he could even play safety at the NFL level. He is really a true chess piece for your defense, but he is older prospect and at times can be a very bad tackler. So that's why he is a little farther down than what most people might have him. 66 for me is going to be Jeremy Bernard, the big physical wide receiver out of Alabama. Overall, pretty good route runner, can separate well across the middle of the field. Very good hands, does not drop the ball, strong as an ox. He's not a big play threat. He's not going to take the top off the defense. He's not the best athlete in the world, but a very well rounded receiver. And I think really the perfect wide receiver three at the NFL level. Let's go ahead and talk about 56 through 65 now, which, yeah, it's going to start to get interesting. We got two big play threats at 65 and 64, and Ted Hurst out of Georgia State and Chris Brazzell out of Tennessee. Ted Hurst is the more physical option. He's better in jump ball situations, probably better overall, even though Brazzell has a lower drop rate. I would say Hurst has better overall hands. But Brazzell, to me, probably is a better route runner. He's more of a speed threat. He is more of a true vertical threat in terms of getting behind the defense and causing them headaches. But Brazzell also really struggles in press coverage at times and can get bullied off the line due to that slender frame. So, yeah, I think they both have their unique advantages. I think Brazzell's might just be a tad bit more intriguing than Hurst. But like I said, they are back to back on my big board with Bernard. I like all three quite a bit. 63 for me is going to be Jalen Kilgore, the nickel out of South Carolina, but I have him listed at safety, and I talked about it in my safety rankings. I just think that's where I'd be using him, man. Like, he's 6'1", 211 pounds. He can struggle at times staying with people in man coverage, but overall, he's got a good nose for the ball. He's good in zone. To me, that feels like a safety, in my opinion. So I would definitely draft Jalen Kilgore and move him back to safety full time. And if he's not ready year one, guess what? He's only 21 years old. So you have plenty of time to figure something out with him and hopefully get a very good quality safety out of him. Chris McClellan and Grayson Halton come in back to back at 62 and 61. Two of my favorite interior defense linemen in the class that I think are extremely underrated. Both can definitely make money as pass rushers. McClellan, to me, is a better run defender, but Grayson Halton definitely is a more polished pass rusher as of right now, excuse me, and has a deeper tool bag in terms of getting to the quarterback, even though they had similar production. But yeah, if you're looking for an overall player, you probably go McClellan. If you're looking for some real juice on the interior of your defensive line, I think Colton is then your guy. 60 for me is going to be Connor Lew out of Auburn. Was once viewed as like a first round type of center prospect. He didn't play very well the first half of the season, tore his ACL, I want to say, maybe Achilles. I think it was ACL. He tore something out for the rest of the year, or maybe no, he definitely tore something. But yeah, nonetheless, he was out the second half of the college football season, kind of dropped his stock. But at the end of the day, I mean, the dude was phenomenal in 2024. He wasn't the worst player in the world in 25, even though it wasn't as good. He's still 21 years old. I don't think that injury is going to end his career by any stretch of the imagination. So Connor Lew, someone I get comfortable like 59 to the Texans. That's where I'm really looking at Connor Lew going. 59 and 58 are a pair of linebackers, but two very different linebackers, so I can't even really talk about them together. Kyle Lewis is just an awesome coverage linebacker. He can play in the nickel, he can play at safety. He is just a chess piece in coverage, and he is by far, to me, the best coverage linebacker in the draft. I mean, what he did at the Senior Bowl was remarkable, but he can't do much more else than that. He can't defend the run well. He's not a great tackler. He is a true coverage player, and I don't know if he has a sole position, which could be an issue. CJ Allen is a downhill thumper, can be your Mike linebacker, lead the defense, but not great in pass coverage at all, in my opinion. He is a very stiff athlete, has trouble flipping his hips. So that kind of does scare me. That's why I'm much lower on CJ Allen than the consensus. Number 57 for me is going to be Gabe Akis out of Illinois. 6'3, 260 pounds, but plays, I feel like, around 270, 275. You feel the power when you watch Gabe Akis play football. I mean, he definitely doesn't have a deep tool bag, but he is so damn strong and powerful that I don't really think it matters. He can go through, I think, NFL tackles as well, like he did tackles, and the college level looked really good at the Senior Bowl as well. So yeah, Gabe Akis, I'm definitely a fan. 56 RB2 is going to be Jadarian Price out of Notre Dame. Jadarian Price is a very fun player to me. We didn't really get to see his full potential playing with Jeremiah Love, of course, but I think there is more upside as pass catcher than what he's been able to show. He is very fast. He can break off a home run at any point. He overall is pretty good on staying on his feet with contact balance. So all I want to see is more opportunities, less fumbles, because three fumbles and limited opportunities is not great. But I think Jadarian Price could be a starting level running back at the NFL level. All right, let's talk about 51 through 50 before we talk about the top 50. And yeah, y'all are going to see some names and you might freak out, but just hear me out. 55 is going to be Chase Bisontis out of Texas A&M. I think that's just a good, reliable plug and play starting left guard to add to your offensive line. Bisontis was someone I was lower on at times, had to rewatch him, came out liking him a lot more. I was happy I rewatched him. So, yeah, just had better power than what I initially thought, better athleticism as well. Just a very reliable guard that I think will be a starter at the NFL level. 54 is where Ty Simpson's going to come in. I didn't feel comfortable giving Ty Simpson a top 50 grade. He definitely has his flaws. His arm is not the most alive. He is a shorter stature to begin with, 6'1, 210. That's had its own problems with quarterbacks succeeding as of recently. So, yeah, while he can be mobile, it can be very accurate at times, but also very inaccurate at times. I don't know. I personally would not take Ty Simpson in the first round, regardless of how good he looked in the first 8 games. It kind of felt like defenses started to figure him out, but he also didn't have a lot of help at Alabama. So it's like, I don't know. I don't see a top 15 quarterback when I watch Ty Simpson. I don't really see a very long term successful quarterback, but I see the reason why you would take a shot. So with the quarterback tax on the ranking, that's how he gets to 54. 53 and 52, I've talked in great depth on live and videos about these two guys. And man, I'm sticking with my gut. Like when I watch them play, Zachariah Branch to me is a slightly better player than Concepcion. Concepcion runs a more complete route tree. I think that's largely due to Zachariah Branch not really being given the opportunity to do so at Georgia. Zachariah Branch is a much stronger player. He is better at making people miss in space, even though he is getting the ball around the line of scrimmage at Georgia. So I think if some team utilizes Zachariah Branch properly, like he's a really good football player. He catches the ball way more consistently. He makes people miss more often. And this isn't to hate on Concepcion because Concepcion at times flashes signs of really good hands, obviously great athleticism and great game breaking speed. It's Jalen Waddle esque. It's just not very consistent, in my opinion. So that's why I wouldn't take Concepcion in the first round. Maybe I look like a jackass a year from now. Maybe I look like a genius 5 years from now. Only time will tell. 51 for me is going to be Jake Golday out of Cincinnati. Edge rusher move to linebacker. You really see it in the way he plays. He is all over the place, has a ton of juice, great run defender, just needs to improve as an overall pass coverage linebacker. All right, let's talk about guys 41 through 50 on my big board, and I'm sure I'll have some questions about some, but let's start and make our way up. Holy hell, English. Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas is going to be the first name mentioned. 6'2", 238 pounds, 21. Don't mean to keep mentioning that, but I think it's reflective in kind of how I feel. He is a very, very good tackler at middle linebacker. Like, I believe only a 4% missed tackle rate, or I want to say 4%. Maybe it could have been 9. I'm getting him and CJ Allen mixed up in some of their overall numbers, but yeah, I mean, Anthony Hill is just a very good tackler. He can come downhill and with bad intentions, like a CJ Allen, but I think the area he separates himself away from CJ Allen, he has shown very good glimpses in college of being able to move and being great in coverage, which it's not consistent right now, but it's there, and I can promise you it is there. 49 is going to be Cassius out point blank period. We haven't seen a NFL edge rusher successful Cassius Howell's arm size, at least wise. I'm not saying Cassius Howell won't be successful because clearly I have a top 50 grade. I just don't think he's worth a first round pick. In my opinion, Cassius Howell isn't a great run defender at all based on really the Notre Dame tape where you're facing the best rushing attack in the nation and they were picking on you running to your side in the second half every play. So those are my gripes. Obviously, the pass rush tool bag is insane. He is one of the best pass rushers in the class. He has amazing power for only being 250 pounds. He has great bend off the edge. Very good pass rusher. I just don't think he's a three down player at the NFL level. Keelan Rutledge at 48, just a mauler at right guard, just can run through you. He's going to finish out the play. He's going to beat the hell out of you. That's what I look for in my starting guards. 47 for me is going to be Traden Stukes out of Arizona, 6'1", 190 pounds, 25 years old, so he is an older prospect. Don't care. He was elite in the nickel this past year. Great numbers at Arizona. Overall, good testing numbers. Has experience playing on the boundary, and I think he can even play safety. He is a true Swiss Army knife for your secondary. That's why I love him. 46 and 45 for me are going to be the high upside tackles in Blake Miller and Max Ihenacho. I give Max the slight nod because I think they were both pretty raw and have a ton of upside. But Max only has 4 years of experience playing football in his whole life. Blake Miller's been playing his entire life. So Ian Nacho being so new to the sport and showing up to the Senior Bowl and looking that dominant at times, I just think there's a lot more to work with there with Ian Nacho in terms of getting a lot better with the right coach than there is with Blake Miller. 44 and 43, Malachi Lawrence and Derek Moore very close. I definitely prefer Derek Moore, though, in my opinion, even if they are one spot apart on my big board. Malachi Lawrence, certainly the better athlete, maybe the higher upside player. Derek Moore, as of right now, to me, better run defender, better pass rusher as well. He had 12 sacks this past season at Michigan playing against better comp and looked like an animal at the Senior Bowl. Derek Moore is 1000% a my guy for me, and I'm very high on him. And hey, man, maybe you should go 43rd to my Dolphins. 42 for me is going to be Denzel Boston, the big physical wide receiver out of Washington. As you can kind of see, I'm not as high on a lot of these receivers as most people are. Like Concepcion, like Boston. And yeah, I'm going to start getting higher on a lot of the other guys above them, but mainly those two. I don't really see a first round pick. He's not explosive enough. He doesn't separate well enough for me to take him in the first round. but he is great at what he does. And he's asked to go up, get the football, be a jump ball guy. He can do that at a high level. He doesn't drop the ball. I'm a big fan of Denzel Boston. 41 is going to be Lee Hunter. Just a traditional nose tackle, 6'3, 320 pounds, really no athleticism, older prospect. Not a lot of juice as a pass rusher either. You can't run the ball on him, though, and that does have its value at the NFL level, especially with the league. It feels like translating back to a run heavy, run first type of league. So, yeah, a guy like Lee Hunter that can shut down run games is very useful, obviously. All right, we're going to go ahead and talk about prospects 31 through 40 now. And yeah, let's go ahead and start with number 40 for me, which is going to be AJ Halsey out of LSU. I love AJ Halsey's game. He's not going to wow you with size or length or overall athleticism, but his overall smartness and talent is evident. He's had 8 interceptions over the past 2 years. He is a tackling machine. He can blow you up and knock you out of your cleats. He doesn't mind tackling, which I love. Genesis Smith, take notes. But yeah, just overall, very good football player. And if you have concerns about the athleticism, this would be my argument. He's already in the right position before the quarterback lets go of the ball. So it's not about is he going to be able to make it there? He's already there waiting for it. So that would be a big argument for me of why I like AJ Halsey so much. 39 for me is going to be Keith Abney. With the overall size concerns, I think Keith Abney probably ends up just being a nickel corner at the NFL level, but I'm fine with that. He's an amazing tackler for his size. He's pretty good in coverage. He can get a little handsy, and it led to him having a lot of penalties this past year. But overall, to me, just a very good football player. I would be very excited starting in the nickel every single week, personally. 38 for me is going to be Chris Bell. Obviously, he is going to be coming off that torn ACL, which is unfortunate. He suffered in November. Else, he might be a top 30 player for me, and he definitely would be a first round pick, in my opinion. But that could affect things. It's not going to affect a lot. I mean, I do wonder what he will look like after ACL injury, but at the end of the day, he's 6'2, he's 222. That's not going to change. He's going to remain a physical receiver. The explosiveness maybe could be a tad worse. Overall, he's got very good hands. He can separate well vertically. Needs to polish his game as a route runner. There's a lot of DK Metcalf, AJ Brown to like here, but there also could be an Xavier Legette floor. So it can get scary, but that ceiling's enough for me to want to in. And based on the tape, I think he's way better than Xavier Legette ever was out of South Carolina. 37 for me is going to be Caleb Banks. Another guy, the ceiling is through the roof, but the floor is so damn low because of the medicals. The dude can't stay healthy. He's hurt the same foot like 3 times, which is alarming. But man, you don't see 6'6", 335 pounds moving like that all that often. And when he has been on the field, he is a dominant football player. So still someone I am very interested in at the start of the second round to teams like the Giants, who lost Dexter Lawrence, the Houston Texans, the Raiders. There's plenty of teams. The Falcons at 48 if he fell to injury. The Vikings 49. Ton of teams that will take Caleb Banks in the top 50. 36 is going to be where Keldrick Falk lands. I'm sure there was a lot of questions about this because I've been so adamant and vocal that Falk will go in the top 20, which I do believe. I just don't think he's that good yet. We could definitely get there, though, because the upside's amazing. He's 6'6, he's 276 pounds. He's the youngest player in the draft. He's versatile. He can play in a 4-3 as a defensive end. He can play in a 3-4 as an outside backer that can also move into interior defensive end. So he is a super versatile player. He's one of the best run defenders in the draft, regardless of position. He is a great run defender. He has shown somewhat upside as a pass rusher in 24, racking up 7 sacks. So it's like he has produced enough to where, like, if Shamar Stewart's going 17th overall, which that hasn't panned out yet for Cincinnati, I would certainly take Keldrick Falk over Shamar Stewart any day of the week as a prospect. 35 for me is going to be Caden Proctor out of Alabama, 6'6", 350 pounds. As you can see, this little tier right here from 35 to 38 is very high upside players with low floors. It's kind of a tier of its own. I went from most comfortable to least. Caden Proctor to me is like, worst case, he moves into guard and he's a big mauler as a guard that can move pretty well for being 350 pounds. Best case scenario for me, he loses 10 to 15 pounds, gets even better athletically, keeps the power, and there you go. I mean, that now we're talking like Monroe Freeling-esque prospect, in my opinion. 34 for me is going to be Brandon Cisse out of South Carolina. The upside, Brandon Cisse can also go in that tier with Proctor and guys below him, but The upside is certainly there. I mean, the athleticism is great. At times, he can look like the best corner in the nation. Other times, he can look like a day three slash UDFA, like the Texas A&M game. So it has been a roller coaster. He is super young, though. I think in the right system with a team that can develop Cisse to his strengths, which is really just being able to get up in people's chest. Granted, he's not a great tackler, but he can run for you stride for stride down the field, which I love. But yeah, Cisse is still a very intriguing borderline first round type of talent, in my opinion. Now we go to some safer players at 33 and 32 with two offensive linemen, in my opinion, with Emmanuel Pregnon out of Oregon and Caleb Lomu out of Utah. Caleb Lomu obviously playing tackles a little more valuable, and I think Lomu could play guard as well, potentially at the NFL level, so he's versatile as well. Emmanuel Pregnon's just really a big athlete with a ton of power in his game, which that does translate well to the league. The one question would be, why did it not translate in college before this past season at Oregon when he was 24 years old and a lot older than most of his competition? So I can understand why someone might ask that. At the end of the day, maybe I'm completely blanking on the school he was at before Oregon, but maybe they just weren't using him right, and he gets into a good offensive line developing system, and he looks like one of the best guards in the nation. So I personally like Emmanuel Pregnon. I think his game will translate. I just think he wasn't used properly before he got to Oregon. But yeah, Caleb Lomu, like I said, very versatile offense lineman. I don't ever see a world where Caleb Lomu is your best or second best offensive lineman. But if he's your fourth or fifth best, I think your offensive line's in a fantastic spot. All right, 31 and 30, I'll talk about together because they're kind of a pair. We're going to talk about Jacob Rodriguez and D'Angelo Pons out of Indiana. Kind of similar players, elite college football players that a lot of people are down on for specific reasons. Rodriguez, overall size at 6'1, 230, I guess, is why people try to make the reason, and the overall length isn't great. But the athleticism is incredible. He's a turnover machine. He caused 10 turnovers this past season. He finished top five in Heisman voting. He went to the Senior Bowl and was causing turnovers. Like he went to the combine, tore up the combine. Jacob Rodriguez to me is just a very clear good player, and I think he's much better than the other linebackers he's talked about in a tier with. He's my linebacker too, very clearly by nearly 20 spots over Ant Hill. And 30, D'Angelo Ponce. There's a lot of concerns, 5'8, 182. The measurables obviously aren't ideal either. The athleticism is elite. He jumped over a 43 and a half vertical, which is insane for his size. He played true boundary in Indiana and was one of the best corners in the nation. Really only got roughed up by Jeremiah Smith, which guess what? Jeremiah Smith will be a top five pick next year, if not top three. So, and he's way better than anybody in this draft class. I can promise you that. So he's generational prospect, roughed him up one game. I can live with that. You look at the game he played against Denzel Boston, someone who's 6'3", 210 pounds, so he's got 30 pounds on him and over 5 inches in 2024. Pons dominated him, even beat him at the catch point as well. Like D'Angelo Pons to me is going to be an elite nickel corner at the NFL level. All right, let's talk about 26 through 29 before the official top 25. 29 to me is going to be Caden McDonald. Caden McDonald's just kind of like Lee Hunter, except more athletic and a higher upside as a pass rusher, in my opinion. So great run stuffer that adds a lot of size to your defense line. But I think Caden McDonald might even be able to give you a little bit as a pass rusher, a little bit more than what Lee potentially gives you, even though McDonald's was by far the worst in the class out of the top six in terms of win rate. 28 for me is going to be Avion Terrell. At times, I've had Avion Terrell listed with my nickel corners being 5'11", 186. I think the overall size is good enough. I'd like to see him add hopefully 10 pounds to his frame. He's got a really good nose for the football. He had a couple interceptions last year. He blocked a kick this year. He caused a couple fumbles. He just knows how to make plays on a defense, and obviously that's very valuable. It sucks we didn't get to see him run because he pulled his hamstring, and that itself probably dropped him in draft capital. But Avion Terrell to me should be a first round pick. 27, though, is another corner ahead of Terrell, and it's going to be Colton Hood. I really like Colton Hood's game originally, if y'all remember. I did not like Colton Hood originally, especially the first couple of days at Senior Bowl. I'm like, this guy's getting beat by Tyron Montgomery and Ted Hurst, who become Ted Hurst, one of my favorite day two picks, and Tyron Montgomery, one of my favorite day three picks. And then Colton Hood bounced back in a big way and dominated the second half of the Senior Bowl week. So I was like, oh, yeah, like I'm starting to see that first round pick again. Goes to the combine, tears that up. Overall length is good. And I mean, you factor in the fact he's the best tackling corner and the best press corner for my money in the draft. I think Colton Hood is going to go a lot higher than what some of y'all think. Like, I'm thinking around top 20. 26 for me is going to be Christian Miller out of Georgia. I'm a big time fan of Christian Miller. Great run defender, overall solid athleticism. But the thing I like the most is Georgia had no pass rush. They were looking, who's going to step up? We need pass rush help. Who's stepping up for us down the stretch? Christian Miller off the interior, who's known as a run defender, is by far the best pass rusher on Georgia's defensive line down the stretch of the season. So it's like stuff like that. I'm like, okay, damn. Like, even though the numbers won't say you're the second best defense tackle in the class, my eyes and overall just feel of what I think about you in terms of your high motor and getting shit done. I like that enough to where I feel confident putting Christian Miller this high at 26 on my big board as a true first round talent. All right, let's talk about 25 through 21 before the top 20. Got a pair of edge rushers, tackle, tight end, and a safety. So let's talk about it. Starting off with the edge rushers, the difference between TJ Parker and Akeem Mesidor, even if Akeem is the slightly better player now, Parker is the same size. He's 4 years younger. And Parker's 2024 tape was arguably just as good as Mesidor's 2025 tape. Mind you, Parker was 20 years old when he put that tape out, and all the Clemson defense linemen struggled. So it's like TJ Parker, I think it'd be a utter travesty if he fell out of the first round. Someone I am very, very, very comfortable with taking 24th overall. And in terms of Akeem Mesdor, hopefully this shit doesn't start up again. What you see is what you get. He's going to be a great run defender. He's going to be a solid pass rusher, but I don't see his game elevating much more, man. Oh man, my allergies. 23 for me is going to be Monroe Freeling. To me, if you're going to take a shot on a high upside tackle, Monroe Freeling is the way I'm doing so. I mean, he's by far a better athlete than Proctor, in my opinion. He's more developed. He's played both tackle positions, which is nice. Monroe Freeling is definitely my dude for the project tackles. 22 might be surprising to see Kenyon Sadiq this low. The fact of the matter is, I don't even know if Kenyon Sadiq was the best tight end on his team this past season with Jamar Johnson. So it's like, I think that kind of speaks out, and Johnson might be the overall tight end one next year as well. So I don't want to take that away from him. But yeah, overall, he just hasn't produced elitely. Now, granted, he is an elite athlete, which I like. He's not the biggest guy in the world, not the best run blocker either, but as an overall passing weapon, like he can be very effective in the slot in the right offense, in my opinion. 21 for me is going to be Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo. I like EMW's game a lot. 6'3, 201 pounds, just reliable. Can play in the box, can play nickel, can play deep. I think mainly you'll see him in the box and deep at the NFL level, but just a very instinctive player, can knock you out your shoes. Like just a very good safety and a very good safety class based on the top four, in my opinion, but really the top three. All right, let's talk about my number 20 players through 16. And yeah, you're going to see a couple of my guys for sure. You know, we'll go to 15 because 15 through 17 is their own tier. But starting with my guy at 20, Zion Young is definitely my preference off the edge. I don't know how more people don't like Zion Young. He's 6'5, 262 pounds. He's got good athleticism. He is a phenomenal run defender. He is a dog. He's got that dog mentality. He's ready out there. He's ready to fight you every snap of the game, which I like. I need my defensive linemen and offensive linemen to be assholes. I need them to dominate when they are on the field. Zion Young brings that to the table. Also, a very good pass rusher as well. Zion Young's my dude, man. I got a lot of stock in this year's draft invested on Zion Young. Number 19, another my guy, really, Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana. Um, just a little bit lesser of a Makai Lemon, in my opinion. He is great after the catch. He's got better speed than Lemon, but he's got good hands as well. He's a good route runner. I mean, I don't know how people don't like Omar Cooper Jr. He does really everything you would want pretty well. He's just not really elite at anything outside of he's borderline elite after the catch. I mean, he had 27 missed tackles for, so he definitely knows how to at least make the first man miss consistently. Number 18 for me, though, 100% the ultimate. Birch Sports, my guy this year. Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. He reminds me so much of Quinion Mitchell in a sense of everyone is asleep on him because of the school he plays at. Both of them went to the Senior Bowl, dominated. Oh, well, this, and this. Oh, let's see him at the combine. Both went to the combine and dominated. Oh, I don't care. I'm tired of the excuses. I don't give a. Almost got demonetized, which I'm not making money anyway, so I could have. I'm tired of the excuses, though. I mean, the tape is phenomenal. It's arguably the best in the class up there with Mansour Delane. He looked great at the Senior Bowl. He looked phenomenal at the combine, way better than what we thought for a guy that was deemed to be slow, running a 4.4. I like Chris Johnson, man. I like him a lot. I think people are really dropping the ball here. I would take him comfortably in the top 20. All right, like I said, though, 17 for 15. This is just high upside guys with their own problems. Starting off with Peter Woods, who obviously I have the least confidence in out of the three, but still a lot of confidence in as my D tackle one. Just overall, lost a lot of weight. The play went down, which is largely due to Clemson's defense line scheme because every Clemson defense lineman played bad. But unlike TJ Parker, he didn't go to the Senior Bowl where TJ Parker dominated. He didn't participate at the combine. He participates at his pro day. It doesn't look good. I'm having a hard time believing Peter Woods is going to go in the first round, regardless of how phenomenal the tape is in 2023 and 2024. But that tape I just referred to is the main reason he is 17 on my big board because holy, the things he was doing at 19 and 20 years old as a freshman and sophomore were incredible. And I really think that player is still obviously there. I don't think it just disappears. 16, though, Jermod McCoy. McCoy's someone that's been as high as like top 8 on my big board, but overall, there's starting to circulate some rumors about the degenerative ACL after the ACL tear, and it didn't heal completely properly, and like it's starting to get messy. There's rumors about McCoy falling again. I don't know. I know when he's on the field, he is a top 10 talent in the draft, borderline top 5. He's one of the most patient corners I've ever seen, but the medicals do scare me a good bit to where I felt like making my own tier with these three guys. And Jordan Tyson, we all know by now. He broke his collarbone. Okay, recovered from that. It's just a break. That's fine. He tore his ACL. That's not good. And after coming back from the torn ACL, he's hurt his hamstring multiple times. So Jordan Tyson really scares me to death in terms of missing a lot of time as a player. But he is also so clearly the most talented playmaker in terms of wide receiver tight end in this draft class that I can't ignore it. And it's still worthy of a top 15 pick for that matter. All right, let's talk about guys 11 through 14 before the official top 10 for Birch Sports. And number 14 for me is going to be Spencer Fano, who I think is going to be a Dolphin personally. Just a very reliable offense lineman, like very good athleticism, relatively solid power. People have talked about moving him into center and guard. If you want to do that, that's fine. But the arm length to me is good enough to where I want to try Matt tackle before I do that. So, yeah, Spencer Fano, I mean, it's going to depend where he lands. I'd prefer him to play tackle, and if it can't work, then I think you're going to have a really damn good guard at the NFL level because of how good those movement skills are. 13's Makai Lemon. Like I said, just a pretty much better Omar Cooper. He's got better hands. He is just as good after the catch. He's a better route runner, lesser speed. The dude's phenomenal. I mean, people look for any reason in the world to hate on Makai Lemon. I'm tired of it. Makai Lemon is a baller. He's great with the ball in his hands. He is going to be the next successful slot wide receiver that's like, oh, how this guy not go top 10? I don't know. Y'all tell me. Y'all drop the ball on slot receivers. Puka is going late day 3. Amon Ra is going round 4. JSN's clearly the best weapon in his class. He's going like pick 20. I don't know. It needs to stop though. It's ridiculous. Shout out to Marcus Cousins. Number 12, we got Dylan Thieneman here out of Oregon. Dylan Thieneman's about as clean as it can get up there with Caleb Downs, so you'll see Caleb Downs in quite some time on this top 150. But yeah, Thieneman, I would argue Thieneman's best football was damn near played at Purdue before he went to Oregon, but the Oregon tape was really good as well, but it was polar opposite of what he was asked at Purdue. So he is clearly a very versatile player. I think he's great as a ball hawk, just roaming at the top, picking off things. Dylan Thieneman gives me the vibes with the overall athleticism of someone that is capable of leading the NFL in interceptions as a pro. So definitely someone I have a lot of stock in. And like the Cowboys at 12, realistically, I would give them a pass even if it's a safety in the top 12. Like that's how good he is. Number 11 for me is going to be Olavega Yawane out of Penn State. Just an absolute mauler at guard. He can knock you out of your socks and cleats. He is also very athletic. Penn State's got this dude lining up at slot, motioning him in, and just KILLING linebackers. Once again, trying to keep it PG. But like the dude is just a force to be reckoned with. He, to me, if it wasn't for positional value, might have graded as the best overall offensive lineman, which, spoiler, number 10 is going to be Francis Mauigoa, who we'll talk about. We'll go one at a time for the top 10. But yeah, like I said, Mauigoa plays tackle, more valuable position. And I think Mauigoa is arguably just as good as Olavega Ioane. He definitely doesn't have the power Ioane has, but the athleticism is certainly there. And the thing I love about Mauigoa not only that the arm length and stuff is great and the production was good, but he was viewed as a mid first round tackle going into the college football playoffs. That dude elevated his game against the best competition so highly that he's talked about as the third overall pick now. So the fact he got better when it mattered the most for Miami, chef's kiss. Number 9 for me is going to be Cardinal Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Just feels like by far the safest wide receiver. He's big, he's a boundary body, he's athletic, he can win short, medium, long, or short, medium, deep, I guess would have been the correct term there. He's a great route runner. He had a 0% drop rate outside of one drop in the college football playoffs when they lost to Miami, which didn't count on his regular season numbers. But I don't even know if they credit him with he definitely dropped it though. But yeah, Cornell Tate's just an awesome player. Like I say, he's a great route runner. He's one of the best deep threats as well, which I didn't even mention. He can win deep consistently because of how great of a route runner he is. To me, he should be the first wide receiver taken with how clean his game is and really no signs of medical issues. Number 8 for me is going to be Mansour Delane out of LSU. Mansour Delane's just a baller, man. Like, I would say 2025 Mansour Delane is better than 2024 Jermont McCoy. That might be a hot take. I don't give a damn. The numbers were way better. He gave up way less yards. He uh, had way less penalties. McCoy had like 8. I don't even think Delane had a penalty this last year. And he's also a really good tackler. So, just in terms of a pretty clean prospect, in terms of everything outside of overall, maybe arm length can be a small concern, and his overall weight at 187. I'm not buying that. He's my overall CB1. Mansour Delane's a stud. Number 7 for me is going to be David Bailey. And at times I have been lower at David Bailey. I'm moving him back up just because he is such a dominant pass rusher. And the name of the game to get paid off the edge is pass rush. So David Bailey to me feels like a guy that it will translate and he can get 10 to 15 sacks at the NFL level. I kind of worry about him as a run defender at times. But then again, like, even though he was shaky, like, he also had the good against the run. So it's like, I like David Bailey a lot. Once again, like I think David Bailey's probably better suited for a 3-4, but I think he can make a 4-3 work because he's so damn strong. And his pass rush tool bag is so deep that it's like I'm certain it would work. Number 6 for me, though, is going to be Arvell Reese out of Ohio State. And this has a lot to do with upside. He's an inch taller. He's 10 pounds lighter. I would argue he's just as strong as David Bailey. That dude is so damn strong despite his size. It's nuts. He's a better overall athlete. He's a way better run defender, even despite playing a lot of linebacker in college. Nowhere near the level of pass rusher, obviously, but being 2 years younger and having Bailey beat in pretty much every other facet of the game, I would rather take the shot on Reese and hope we can develop him as a pass rusher. He's such a great athlete. I think that alone is going to give teams some trouble, especially, like I said, with the overall power in his game that he possesses, even at a lighter weight, which he'll probably play around 250 off the edge if I had to guess, since the combine you want to run fast, which he definitely did. But yeah, Arvell Reese is a stud. Number 5 for me is going to be Fernando Mendoza. And the reason Fernando Mendoza lands here is because I have 4 blue chip grades, 4 generational type of prospect grades. I mean, more so like 3, and then one guy I'm like, damn, he can be a franchise changer too, but I'm a little scared. But yeah, Fernando Mendoza, he should go number 1. To me, he was better than Cam Ward last year. Um, I would almost argue he's probably better than Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and those guys as well. So he is a very good quarterback prospect overall with the size and athleticism and just how smart he is and how easy it is for him to read a field. But yeah, I just don't know if I ever see Fernando being like a top five quarterback in the league. Like I don't see him really sniffing the clear top four we have in the league currently, but I definitely see him in that tier of like the Jared Goffs and Justin Herberts of being like, yeah, not so much Jared Goff, but he kind of plays similar to Jared Goff, but I think higher ceiling like Herbert-ish, to where like, yeah, he clearly elevates this team to a better level rather than he's just uh solid to good quarterback with a great team. Like, no, that's not the case. I think he is going to be a really good quarterback in a fringe borderline like top 6 to 10 guy in the league for I would say with how smart he is, probably Godspeed if he stays healthy, at least the next 10 to 13 years until he's like 35. Number four, though, like I said, a clear jump for me is going to be Ruben Bain Jr. out of Miami. This dude is the best pass rusher, and it is a big time like grade drop for me from 4 to 6, in my opinion, in this class. Ruben Bain's phenomenal. He's an elite run defender. He's great as a pass rusher. He has so much power in his game. He is an overall good dude. I know the tragic incident happened with him speeding and the young lady lost her life. Unfortunate situation. He didn't face legal trouble. It was an accident. He made a dumb decision. Obviously, it was a very unfortunate dumb decision, but like this dude is a very good dude. He's not involved in drama. Like he just wants to go out there and ball. The arm length, I don't really give a damn. I saw Aiden Hutchinson make it work. Ruben Bain has a lot of hutch to me in his games with the power, but overall bend off the edge as well. Ruben Bain, I am a full-time believer in that he will be a great NFL player. Number three for me is going to be Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame, though. I think his game really matches well nicely with how the style of running back is in fashion right now for the NFL. He's the perfect modern running back, even probably more modern than Ashton Genty, which I don't think he was a better overall player, but I think his game fits the NFL better than maybe Genty's. He is a great pass catcher. He is elite as a runner. I mean, he averages like 4 yards after contact, which is just nuts. His contact balance is elite. His vision is great. Jeremiah Love to me is going to be a borderline top five running back in the NFL for a long time, especially considering he's 21 years old. But let's go to the top two. And number two, a guy that was number one at one point for a while for me, but I landed on two. Sonny Styles out of Ohio State. I've really never seen a linebacker like Sonny Styles, 6'5, 244. He's only 21. He's so damn athletic, probably the most athletic linebacker we have ever seen at the combine. He is a phenomenal tackler, only missed one tackle, and that came against Mark Fletcher after he threw the center out of the way. Then Mark Fletcher just hit him instantly and bounced off of him. I can't even really blame him for that because he did a great job with the center. He can improve more as a coverage linebacker, but the instincts are already there. So, I mean, if that's his one flaw, he needs to get a little bit better as a coverage linebacker. And he's that damn athletic and that smart and that great against the run and that versatile, can play off the edge and safety, former safety, by the way. I'm all in on Sonny Styles. He is going to be. I think he will. Mark my words. He will take the crown off of Fred Warner as the best overall linebacker in football in the next 3 years, in my opinion. And yeah, that's a hot take. That's how much I like Sonny Styles as a player. But number one, the best overall safety I've studied since Kyle Hamilton, and probably better than Kyle Hamilton coming out of Notre Dame, is Caleb Downs. I have not really seen a player like this. I mean, he is insane. Granted, it's kind of funny that a guy that plays safety, the least valuable position in football, he's not the biggest guy in the world. He's not the lengthiest. He's not the best athlete. And he is that damn good to where he is the number one player in his draft class. That is nuts, in my opinion. There's so much talk about how good he is that teams might just rip up positional value and take him in the top five like the Giants, and I can't blame them. Because to me, he's the best player. He is great at coming down the hill and getting in the backfield and making plays. He does not miss tackles. He is great in pass coverage, can make you turn over the ball in an instant. He is fantastic in the box when he moves up into the box in certain sets at diagnosing plays and just making stuff happen. Caleb Downs is the best player in this year's draft, in my opinion. That is my official top 150. Appreciate those who did come back for part two with the top 75. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed, man, and stay tuned tomorrow. I got another video for y'all.